A legend, one of the greatest sports figures of all time. Big round of applause. Bobby Orr, number 4 in the house.
Thank you, Riyadh.
Yes, sir.
Nice being with you.
Hey, nice being with you on the couch. Now, we are going to talk about this great piece, your story, the book. But first, I got to give a shout out to Randy and Brian, our camera guy on the floor here, because they went back in history. Vancouver Canucks magazine back in 1971. I want to show you this. Here's the first question. What cologne do you wear? Because it's a man's world for Bobby Orr. Are you still rocking the Yardley?
That is funny. That's an old one.
Look at this style. Look at that hair.
Yeah, yes. We're really styling back then.
You were rooting for the Canucks in 2011, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Good series. It was a great series. I mean, I enjoyed the series, and obviously I was very happy for Boston.
Yeah. Well, I'm not so happy for Boston, but I'm happy for you, man.
The Canucks had a great year. You really shouldn't complain. I thought they'd give you a lot of great entertainment.
They did, for sure, you know, and it's always great to hear the stories. We had Marty Brodeur on the show earlier talking about the history, and here it is. My story, your book, and this isn't a book, I'm just saying to you, not just for hockey fans, because the human element comes out, and after all the history and all the accolades, why was now the right time to put pen to paper?
I just, you know, I'm getting up there, and I woke up one morning. I thought maybe I'll look at doing a book, but I didn't want to do a book with stats and game to game. If I was going to do a book, I wanted a book that whoever might read it might get something from it.
Yeah.
And I hope I've accomplished that, whether you're a young hockey player, a parent, making the kids understand the sacrifices brothers and sisters make for you, and the sacrifices parents make for you so you can chase your dreams. The help I received along the way, I started playing junior hockey when I was 14, and I commuted, and my father and mother worked at least 2 jobs. We had 5 kids in the family. They couldn't drive me all the time. My father couldn't drive me, so I had friends helping out. So a lot of people helped me along the way. I met a lot of great people, learned a lot of great lessons, and hopefully I've put that into the book.
Well, those lessons are clearly apparent going through the pages of this book. The accolades are simply endless when it comes to you. Stanley Cup MVP, league scoring titles, inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame at the age of 31. When you look at all of the asterisks and the milestones for you, which one means the most?
Well, growing up in Canada, being a young hockey player, my dream was to play in the NHL. So I was fortunate enough to realize that dream, and then to be on a Stanley Cup team. Those 2 Stanley Cup team wins are obviously highlights. In 1976, that was the only time I played for Canada in an international series. In the Canada Cup, that certainly is a highlight. And right here in Vancouver, being one of the flag bearers for the Olympics, that walking into that stadium was amazing.
Great moments, great emotion, not only on the ice with you and the players, but the fans as well. Let's go back to 1970, May 10th. Everyone talks about this now famous Stanley Cup winning goal. I know it must have been a thrill on the ice, but tell me about the first moment, and you allude to this in the book, first time you saw a photo of that famous goal.
In those days, we didn't stay at home during the playoffs. We stayed at a motel to keep the guys together, and my father was at the same hotel in Linfield, Massachusetts, and I get up the next morning to have breakfast with my dad, and he was sitting with, at that time, the Record American, which was a newspaper in Boston, and he opened up the newspaper in the center, and that was the shot. So that was the first time I'd seen it.
Pretty special moment.
Yes, it was.
And looking at this footage, I mean, this is the history when it comes to hockey. What is the statue? I mean, a couple of years ago, we talked about the Stanley Cup run. We had the fortune of being outside TD Garden, seeing that statue. What do you think that stands for today?
Well, as I say in the book, I mean, I'm thrilled that there's a statue there. I'm thrilled to have been able to score the goal to end the series, but we were up 3-0. That was a small snippet, a moment. I think the more important story is how do we get there? And when I look at that statue at Boston Garden today, the day it was unveiled, you know, Kathy Bailey was there, Ace Bailey's wife, and we lost Ace in 9/11. I think of Ace. I think of the deal Milt Schmidt made. I mean, the goal is great, the championship is great. How did we get there? I mean, I think that's more interesting. And the deal, we call it, the trade with Esposito, Hodge, and Stanfield, and that is really what put us over the hump. And then the great job, you know, Harry did behind the bench. The Bruin organization had, you know, Cashman in their organization. They had Sanderson in the organization, Marcotte in the organization, who played on their junior teams. And then we put Stanfield, or we put Busick, Johnny McKenzie, Eddie Johnston, Jerry Cheever. Now we put it all together. To me, that's how did we get there? So many people put so much into it, and the goal is great, but how we got there, I think, is the most interesting thing.
And chapter by chapter, you go through this and showcase a lot of people. Don Cherry, I know, is a good friend to you, was a great coach, and I know you've pushed for him to be in the Hockey Hall of Fame. What makes this man such a good friend and worthy of the title?
Contribution to the game. You ever walk down the street with Don?
The Blazers alone, man, they get attention.
He's a man that loves the game. He's a man that is as big in the game today as most players. And it's contribution to the game, and what he contributes to our game, in my mind, is amazing. And he's a man that really does love our game. Everybody thinks Don's this big, rough guy. You know, but he's a little soft sometimes. We see how he is with the troops. I can't tell you the number of times that I get notes from him about sending something to a child that's sick or anyone that might be sick. But he's a good person. What he means to our game, I think, is just it's unbelievable. And certainly is deserving of the Hall of Fame as a builder.
And you know, Fabricland loves him too for what he's doing with these Blazers, right?
No, I'm not sure people understand where he gets his material, but it is from it's draper material.
And you talk about that in the book. Listen, we got to wrap up, but I want to close on this note. Out of all of the interactions you've had, whether it be with parents, players, coaches, or fans, what's one of the most memorable conversations you've had that makes the journey worthwhile?
Oh gosh, I've been so lucky and had so many great conversations with so many people. You've got me on that one. Yes.
Okay, think about that one.
Let me think about it. I mean, I've had so many great conversations with so many people, but the great thing about doing the book is thinking back to childhood and the fun we had, how we learned to play, the development. And if I was going to say one thing to the parents that might be listening, you know, leave your child. This is a marathon. It's not a sprint. If your son's been blessed with the ability to play a game and he keeps that love and passion for the game, he's got a chance to play our great game, and only a chance. If they just think for a minute, 0.00025% of all children playing this game ever play one game in the NHL. So the question is, why is your kid playing? He's playing to have fun with his friends and learn values like being respectful and being responsible, being a good person. Say thank you. Yeah. This is what the parents and the coaches should be teaching our kids.
It's a great message on how to prepare your kids to be a hockey player. Bobby Orr, an absolute honor to meet you, sir.
Thank you very much. We had nice being with you.
All right, My Story is the book, and if there's one thing we do before you leave, can you go take a photo with Russell K, because he doesn't have a Facebook profile pic, and this could be it.
Absolutely. No fair. I'm fan crushing. Yeah, Riaz, you're a good-looking man, but Bobby Orr, you look great.
Right there.
Now,
right there.
Those highlights were in black and white, so that's something considering how good you look. I mean, we're going back a ways, aren't we? Bobby, I got to tell you, I'm the only guy in the building of your vintage who would know who you are, because I mentioned your name around here this morning, and here's what I got. Oh, the guy from the Planters Peanut commercial. No, Bobby Orr. Oh, the guy from Tim Hortons. No, the greatest hockey player who ever lived, Bobby Orr. Wake up, everybody. So awesome to have you on the show today.